Americans continue to deal with higher costs for everything from gas prices to food and everyday products. The country has been dealing with a complex supply chain crisis now for nearly 2 years, and President Biden vowed to fix it. He even put together a commission and released a document called the Flow Plan to address it. But is it just a public relations scheme? And what should Washington be doing to get products moving? Let's ask supply chain expert and the CEO of Holosale Technologies, Johnny Walker, who joins us now in studio. All right, Johnny, thank you for being here. Welcome back to the show. So the White House puts together this industry group. They spend months to come up with this plan. Let's go through this and talk about the problems with what they call the Flow Plan here.
Excellent. Yes. Thank you for having me back.
You're welcome.
Well, first of all, they put together a flow plan and put on this flow plan a group of people, 2 foreign companies that made record profits during the pandemic, and then a bunch of other companies that are American that also made large profits during the pandemic and the supply chain crisis, and also were part of the reason why we're in the mess we're in the first place, instead of actually going to the people that are on the ground, getting the job done and know what needs to get done.
So, you know, they also didn't address the skilled labor shortage, right? That was one of the things that didn't seem to be addressed in this at all, right?
In the flow plan, they addressed the sharing of data amongst the large companies, and then they put this sharing of data under the charge of the DOT, a government agency. So all of this data is run and regulated and watched by the federal government, which is dangerous to free enterprise, free market. For example, if I want to sell shoes from a container to 3 different retailers, I might not want everybody to know what I'm charging those 3 different retailers, because I'm a business. I'm trying to make a profit.
Right.
Now I'm forced to give this information to a government agency.
So it's basically a big government solution, and there are privacy issues there. I want to back up for a second to something that you talked about. It's like, who was on this committee, right? You said there were foreign companies that were on the committee, and then companies that made record profits because of the supply chain crisis. I think we have a graphic that we can throw up on that. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Sure. We have MSC, that's the Mediterranean Shipping Company, which is a foreign company that made record profits. We have CMA, CGM, which is a foreign company that made record profits. We have UPS, FedEx, Target, just to name a few. So,
and a lot of these folks donated big money to the Democratic Party, to the Biden campaign. There's no little guy on this, and that's kind of the issue, is that you've got these really big dogs that are all part of this so-called solution, but all the mid-level people and the lower-level folks are not part of it.
Exactly. Right? The number one thing that should have been addressed would be like I said before, the people actually get the job done. The drivers, we have a driver shortage. We still have a driver shortage. The labor union that represents the dock workers, the longshoremen on the West Coast, are actually threatening to go on strike this June. If that happens, no ship gets unloaded on the whole entire West Coast.
That's right. So Johnny, let's talk about what the solution really should be. What should have been in this plan? Because they worked on this for months, and nothing's happening. But really, what should be in there? Give us a few points.
I would say the most important points would be, number one, why wouldn't we subsidize privatized companies and schools that teach people how to give people CDLs and teach them how to drive these trucks? Why aren't we giving unions that already have established training programs subsidies to train people in stevedoring operations and rail operations and trucking operations? I'm sure the Teamsters would gladly take a subsidy to fund more drivers on the road.
And meanwhile, we're talking about paying off, philosophy majors' student debt, but yet we're not incentivizing the trucking industry, the rail industry, or the longshoring industry.
Exactly. And then ultimately, we find ourselves in a situation where we have to use military assets to fly baby formula, which almost 80 to 90% is right here in the United States from other countries here. Had we freed up those rails, all of the rail that's stuck 2 years ago, we've had 2 years, this wouldn't have been a problem. We wouldn't have had to utilize military assets.
One of the things that I don't think that people realize too is that our merchant marine, and you've brought this up in your writings, our merchant marine is only 80 ships. All of the shipping that is done in this world, all the big major players in shipping, there isn't an American company among them now, and the Biden plan doesn't address rebuilding our merchant marine at all, right?
Not at all. I read every single page of the Biden supply chain disruption task force. I read every page of the flow document. I read every page and press release the DOT has put out. Nothing about our maritime. And furthermore, the Chinese have actually started to teach all of their merchant marines military tactics. And we have less than 80 according to the U.S. Navy. And they have somewhere around 5,500 ships.
Wow, it's amazing. So hopefully somebody's listening out there, because whatever he's saying that he's doing isn't working, and the American people, the American consumer, are paying the price. Johnny Walker of Hollow Sail Technologies, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me, Tom.
Thank you.